you tell us a little bit about your intake, how you're handling leads that are coming in? Let's say a call comes through, or maybe an online, inquiry form comes through. Then what happens on your end?
Right. And so I'm still very involved in marketing, but even more so in intake these days, and the more conferences I go to and see
Yeah.
lawyers with firms way bigger than mine, everybody says the same thing. It's intake, intake, intake.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're very involved. Speed is very important for criminal defense, but also not just speed, but making sure that people feel calm and understood and listened to, and that we are their bastion of hope. We are the secure blanket for them. We don't do hard sales. We build relationships. But it's just making sure that we're on top of things. When we say we're going to do something, we do it. If we schedule them for a phone or Zoom appointment, then we're not late. We're not going to, right, obviously miss it. We're all over the phones. And just making sure that we're always readily available. I mean, I was at a conference last week and I took a call at 10:30 at night. Because that's what we do. We always have attorneys on call nights and weekends, and it was my time. So that's just, it's just really about being there when our clients need us, because in criminal defense, nobody plans for this. If you're a estate planning firm, you're not really getting many calls after hours, right? But in the line of work that I chose and my team chose, it makes it a little exciting, but we're always on call. We're like emergency room doctors. There's some doctors that have their office and that's it, and there's other ones that run the ER, and that's us.
It's a good analogy. How do you keep that message and that high level of customer service consistent throughout your firm, from the intake specialist or the person answering the phone all the way through? What does that training look like? Or tell me a little bit about that.
Right. Well, it's a lot of coaching, a lot of mentoring, but it goes back to having clearly defined core values and then hiring, firing, and training based on those core values. And it's something that we've really learned a lot about in the last 3 years. So it starts with hiring. When we meet, when we put people through our hiring process, it's designed just like our marketing to attract and repel. So first and foremost, it's about people who wouldn't be a good fit or don't fit our core values or don't understand what we do for people here. They might be amazing. First of all, they're probably amazing people, and they're probably amazing employees, just somewhere else, not at our firm. So that's first and foremost. We've invested heavily in Trainual last year and a half, 2 years, and we've built out tons of modules and videos and tests for training for not every department yet, but a lot of them. And a lot of it's hands-on. We record our calls, we go over them as a team and as a group, and we have scripts. And a lot of the scripts, it's not, you always want to make sure you don't take out the human component of it, right? Somebody's like, yeah, I got arrested and the police beat me up. Okay, where do you live? Because that was the next question, right? But it's making sure, but it's, we want to hire naturally empathetic people, and then continue to continue to stress that, but also just give them certain tips and tricks and kind of responses for different scenarios that they might encounter, such as maybe objections about price or and different things like that.
Yeah, that's smart. How far is the sort of initial intake person taking the prospect? In other words, when is it sort of passed off to the next level or the next person?
Right. So I know some firms have non-attorney salespeople. We don't. We we believe in having attorneys do it, because also we do it differently. We don't do consults, we do strategy sessions. Our strategy sessions could be anywhere on average 45 minutes to an hour and a half. It's not a 10-minute wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and pay me. Right. We're not giving legal advice, but we're giving legal analysis. But it's a combination. We tell people, like, look, and we do have a kind of a script that we follow. But we got to get to know you first as a human being. We don't just jump right in. All right, here's the case, here's this, here's that. We got to get to know you, right? Because, like, Kara, if I was to represent you versus somebody else for the same charge, similar facts, the entire representation could be different based on what you have to lose, where you're going, what you're at in your life versus somebody else.
Right.
So it takes time. It takes time to build relationships.
Yeah.
So that's our big focus. Speed to get them in, speed to, build the relationship, but then we go slow through that process, and it builds trust. And that's really what I think all of this is about trust.